A 200% increase in the price of the XRP token could be on the way soon, as the SEC just has 2 days left to appeal the final ruling in the Ripple versus the SEC case. Bank of America is forecasting we are not going to see any Fed rate cuts in 2025, and one of the last things that we're going to be going over is how the LA fires can impact the stock market as well as interest rates here in the near future. Hey guys, Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning to my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys go in and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already, click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could, share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. On my channel, we talk about anything that's going to be impacting financial markets. This is going to include the political landscape, stock market, and the main thing we talk about on my channel is going to be cryptocurrency. Getting started, it's going to be a late night on Monday, January 13th. When I post this video, it will be on the early hours of Tuesday, January 14th, so just tomorrow. And it will be posted at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Arizona time, which is Mountain Standard Time. So, getting started, the total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $3.3 trillion. This is a 2.07% increase in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $95,642, Ethereum $3,180, and XRP right now at $2.54. If we look on the day today right now, just in the top 10, we can see XRP and Cardano are the two nice big gainers, as well as Dogecoin currently up 6.10, XRP is up 4.31, and we do see Cardano 4.18. Bitcoin's doing very well, up 2.98%. Looking at our biggest gainers and losers right now, in my opinion, I think that this is absolutely horrendous, but there are people making these money off these stupid coins. Fartcoin is going to be our biggest gainer, up 46.5%. We're going to see Penguin right now currently up 13%, KAS 12.9, Hype 14.3. But the majority of the cryptocurrencies are going to be up right now, especially because we are up over that 1% on the day today. Getting started with our news, we're going to start with the LA fire because this is one of the big things that are going on. First, I want to say my thoughts and prayers to everyone that's impacted in this. I understand there's a lot of controversy going around. A lot of people are like, well, it's the super rich neighborhoods and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. People are losing their lives. And people are losing everything that they have in these fires, and we should take account for that. So an animated map shows a timeline of the Palestine fire grew over the last few days. Over 100,000 people are still under evacuation orders, and the Eaton-Hurst Palestine fires have spread over 38,000 acres combined. The toll right now is at 24, and we could see this toll rise drastically as a lot of people haven't been able to go back into their areas due to the fire hazards. But this is just the timeline I wanted to show, like how large this fire has gotten. Absolutely horrendous. And there's a bunch of people speculating right now that some of these fires could have been man-made, as we're seeing videos of a bunch of individuals getting arrested by LAPD starting fires in neighborhoods. Right now, President Biden sent out a memo stating people impacted by these fires are going to receive a one-time payment of $770. In my opinion, I think that this is absolutely ridiculous. He also did come out and say that the federal government for the next 6 months is going to pay 100% of the recovery efforts in the area, again, for 6 months. In my opinion, absolutely ridiculous, because we didn't see this go on in Florida, and we also did not see this go on in various parts of the United States, partly including Hawaii during the Maui fires. Florida, we saw the hurricanes. Hurricane Helene was the big one that impacted Florida as well as the Carolinas, and we did not see any federal funding for that other than that one-time payment from FEMA, and now for some reason we're not even getting a FEMA payment, we're getting a federal payment. So I wanted to point that out there. And right here, insurance stocks are set to collapse. LA wildfires have officially spread to 40,000 acres, with the insurance losses crossing $20 billion. Since the market closed on Friday, estimated damages have tripled to $150 billion. Could this cause an economic ripple effect? And in my opinion, I do agree with this. This was posted on January 12th. So we did see a little bit of stocks drop drastically because of this. Right here we see that the S&P 500 is now trading well below the November 5th levels and has erased $2.5 trillion in the market cap in the last 4 weeks. Rising term premiums are premium stocks, something you'll hear a lot in 2025. And if you guys want to, again, everything's going to be down in the comments below. So if you guys want to, you guys can read down below because these are threads and they're pretty long. Along with this, we did see the LA Fire Chief come out, Kristen Crowley, and in my opinion, a 100% a DEI hire. DEI hire, diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. This person has no clue what they are doing. Right now, they are saying that they have 40 fire engines, 36 rescue ambulances, and 10 of our trucks are out of service. And this is close to 15 to 20% of our fleet. Absolutely horrendous. We did see the LA mayor come out and face a lot of backlash for cutting the funding in the state to the LAPD or LAFD due to a lot of budget cut reasons. And we did see the fire chief in this area, not this fire chief, but the head fire chief of California come out and say that if this does go through for those budget cuts, it would cause a ripple effect if a mass incident like a wildfire did occur. And that's what we are seeing right now. We're seeing fire hydrants have no water in it. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to move on though because I could go on for an hour talking about it. Bank of America revises forecast and no longer expects any Fed interest rate cuts in 2025. Given a resilient labor market, we now think that the Fed cutting cycle is over, the bank said. And this is because the jobs report came out for the last for December. Jobs report came out for the last Biden administration, and the jobs were 93,000 over what the expected value of new jobs created was. And in my opinion, that job number is going to get cut drastically. They're trying to make Biden seem like this great president at the last bit of his term, and in my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. So there's a bunch of people speculating that that's causing the Fed not to cut interest rates. And I do think that the Fed, they did announce that they're planning on 2 rate cuts, roughly about 25 basis points apiece is what people are speculating. But with those rate cuts, I think that they might only have 1 rate cut by the end of this year. So we'll see. Keep an eye on it. If we do see a rate cut, that brings investor confidence into the markets, and we're going to see stocks and again, no financial advice, but stocks and crypto and everything else rise in price. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, for those of you that don't know, he is the CEO over at Meta, which owns a lot of your social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and various others, and says that the Biden administration called his employees and screamed and cursed at them to take down certain vaccine content. They also wanted Meta to censor memes too. When he pushed back, the Biden regime started investigating his companies. It was brutal. And again, I would highly encourage you guys to watch this full interview. It's about 3 hours long. And in my opinion, I think it was a very well put together interview. But it's absolutely ridiculous. And then we saw President Biden blast Zuckerberg for replacing fact checkers with community notes, calling the move shameful. And in my opinion, this is the federal government trying to get back on private businesses and try to kind of handle how they do things. And in my opinion, against our First Amendment of freedom of speech rights. We'll see what happens with it. Now, getting into our Watcher Guru news, this is a big news for Ripple. Ripple president, her name is Monica Long. So there's a spot Xrp ETF is likely to be the next in line after a Bitcoin and Ether or Ethereum ETF. And in my opinion, I think that this is great news for the XRP holders as well as the entire crypto industry, because if we see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the XRP all get put into ETFs, this is going to cause a mass influx of new ETFs into the market and in turn raising the price of all cryptocurrencies. Now, Do Kwon to go to trial in 2026 on criminal fraud charges tied to the $40 billion collapse of the Terra Luna USD stablecoin. Now, I want you guys to look at this. I've talked about it several times. I think it's ridiculous that it's going to go until 2026 for this trial to even start, but we'll see what happens with it. But do your guys' own independent research on that, and a lot of this, everything that I say in this video, you guys should. Now, Tether, USDT to relocate to El Salvador. So they're going to move their operations to another country. They didn't get involved in the EU with a lot of their stuff. They needed to get MiCA compliant. They tried to buy a company. I don't know if it officially went through. They haven't really speculated or talked about it yet. But they bought the company, so like they could be MiCA compliant. For them to make this drastic move is kind of interesting. President-elect Trump expected to issue executive orders related to crypto policies on his first day in office. And we're seeing him probably going to get rid of Gary Gensler if Gary Gensler decides to stay. We did see Gary Gensler come out and say he's going to resign before Trump takes office. wants to leave the coward's way out and not get fired. So we'll see what happens, but in my opinion, he is going to be a very pro-crypto president, and I can't wait for him to get inaugurated on January 20th at noon. President-elect Donald Trump expected to repeal a lot of crypto accounting policy requirements, banks holding digital assets to count them as liabilities, WAPO is reporting. In my opinion, I think this is absolutely great. And I think he's going to get rid of all taxes on cryptocurrency, which again will have more people start to invest in the markets due to the asset class going up in value and not having to pay taxes on it. Now, some officials for the app called TikTok. I don't want to say the country's name because I have been shadow banned and even blocked on YouTube for it. But officials are considering selling TikTok US to Elon Musk, Bloomberg is now reporting. I think that would be absolutely great, and we're going to see Elon Musk start to take over a lot of social media platforms after buying Twitter and renaming it X. Now, JP Morgan chief Jamie Dimon, so he's the CEO over at JP Morgan Chase, says Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It is used heavily by these individuals, money launderers, and ransomware. But he also comes out and talks about smoking and says, like, you can do whatever you want to, even though I know it's bad. You know, I can't stop people from smoking, just like he can't stop people from buying Bitcoin. Again, I don't own any Bitcoin, so I want to be fully transparent, but obviously, there's some stuff going on with it. Now, BlackRock is advertising a spot Bitcoin ETF on their homepage. I thought the bull run was over. This is, in my opinion, great news for Bitcoin holders, as well as MicroStrategy. So this is Michael Saylor. He owns the company MicroStrategy, buys another 2,530 Bitcoin for $243 million. This dude is rolling in Bitcoin and his company. So a lot of investors have made quite a bit of money. Now, this is Paul Grewal. He's the chief legal officer over at Coinbase. He says that we just won our petition for a writ of Mirandus at the Third Circuit Court, rebuking the SEC Govs for its order denying our rulemaking petition to the court, held that the SEC's order was conclusively and insufficiently reasoned, thus arbitrary and capricious. We grant the Coinbase's petition in part and remand the SEC for a more complete explanation. We appreciate the court's careful consideration. We further appreciate Judge Babbitt's concurrence, in which he speaks forcefully with the looming constitutional concerns with the ex post enforcement without announcing ex ante rules or guidance. It's an impressive piece of work. And again, it's going to be down in the comments, and you guys can click this link here and it'll take you to it. Now, CTO over at Ripple, his name is David Schwartz. He's the chief technical officer, if you guys don't know what CTO means, but he's the one that built the XRPL and uses the XRP token. So the SEC haphazard enforcement strategy of targeting entities that are trying to follow the law does not give potential defendants the notice of due process requires. That is especially true because this field is novel. The agency has offered no meaningful guidance on which crypto assets it views as securities. The DOA reports give guidance only about the clearest crypto assets, tokens that they look just like stocks. But what about the stablecoins, utility tokens, or even Bitcoin and Ether? Existing rules do not fit blockchain technology, but the SEC refuses to recognize this, and its official silence on and contrary unofficial signals breed uncertainty. Crypto issuers and exchanges are left to cross their fingers and pray that the agency does not fault them. And we did see this in the Ripple versus the SEC case, so we'll see what happens with this, but in my opinion, we're going to get a pro-crypto president as President-elect Trump takes office again. And then along with this, we're going to see Congress start to enact a lot of rules, and they're going to tell the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, on what to do. Now, Frederick Tripoli gives a contrary interdiction of what the ruling states, because he contradicts kind of what Paul Grewal says, because the report is so long. It says, after reading this, Coinbase empathetically did not win this case. DLDR, it lost almost every argument, only starts winning on page 38. So the first 37 pages does not win anything. And what it did win on the SEC did not provide sufficient reason for denying petition can be remedied by the SEC upon remand. But interestingly, there is a phenomenon occurrence by the Judge Babbitt. This is exactly what Ripple is appealing. That old, musty, dusty, crusty rules from centuries ago does not work for crypto. As I explained, it's an old regulations fit poorly with the new technologies and enforcing its strategies raises constitutional notice concerns. If the Second Circuit Court adopts this line of reasoning, the SEC is done for good with crypto. So I wanted to put that out there because Frederick Rapoli, he's been here with the crypto community as a crypto lawyer. He is actually suing Coinbase as well for the Songbird tokens that they were supposed to issue out to XRP holders. And then Stuart Alderati, he is the chief legal officer over at Ripple, says huge congrats to Ian Powell Grewal and also Coinbase on their win today. In Gensler's final days, his anti-crypto crusade is imploding, and a federal appeals court has laid bare the industry has said for years. His selective enforcement of securities laws was a not-so-convert attempt to ban the industry outright shameful. This just about says it all, and if you guys want to, it's right here for you guys to read. I don't want to get into it because, again, I want to try to make these videos kind of shorter. It's 15 minutes in, and we'll get to about roughly a little bit before 20 minutes before this video ends. Now, the SEC is now under a federal court order to fully explain why the agency refused to offer clear rules for crypto assets. One of the judge cautioned the agency that it better not be a yet another poor explanation where we're going to see, well, there's a bunch of crypto assets and we have to look at each individual crypto asset with a fine-tooth comb. And he says this in front of Congress, Gary Gensler did. It was absolutely horrendous. So we'll see if that actually comes through. Ripple CTO David Schwartz also comes out and says, scam warning, if you see an email that looks like this, it's a scam. So if you guys are involved in cryptocurrency and you guys have your guys' email addresses listed, do not click on these to update accounts. Go onto the actual app itself, go onto the website, type in your username and password and see if there's anything that's funky. Because a lot of these scammers out there are going to make everything look perfect, steal your crypto assets within minutes, and there's nothing you can do about it. Even though it can be traced, it's very difficult to get those crypto assets back. Now, Ripple's president Monica Long also expects to see their new stablecoin RLUSD on more platforms imminently and says we will see an XRP ETF soon. Absolutely great in my opinion. And we did see Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati. So this right here is Brad Garlinghouse, and this is Stuart Alderati. So he's the president over at Ripple and the chief legal officer over at Ripple. CEO over at Ripple, sorry, president is Monica Long. So the CEO over at Ripple is the chief executive officer is Brad Garlinghouse. The chief legal officer over at Ripple is Stuart Alderati, having dinner with President-elect Trump. Strong start to 2025 and absolutely great in my opinion for this to be out. And the last thing that I wanted to show you guys, and this is the reason why, in my opinion, I think we could see a 200% price increase of the XRP token within the next 6 months, okay? I understand it's a little bit of clickbait to get you guys involved with this, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to the end. But within the next 6 months, I do see a 200% price increase in the XRP token, and only because the Ripple versus the SEC has to appeal by January 15th. So the final countdown to January 15th, this article is from FX Empire. So XRP volatility peaks as the SEC faces the Ripple appeal deadline amid Chair Gensler's imminent exit. Coinbase's legal victory highlights the SEC struggles in enforcing crypto industries, and Bitcoin price hinges on strategic reserve plans as inflation data and ETFs flow drive market sentiment. So there's a lot of factors going in, and I think these building blocks are going to be going in favor of crypto assets, and I think that this is going to cause a mass increase in the price of all cryptocurrencies. But the major one that has been hindered on this lawsuit, Ripple versus the SEC, for the last 4.5 to 5 years, absolutely ridiculous. And we are going to see XRP, in my opinion, past its all-time high of $3.64, and we are going to see a 200% increase right now from the current price of $2.54. Now, thank you guys for tuning into my video, and if you guys can invest with the big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys, and have a good one.